Hello everyone, I am Madhusudan Naik, founder of Living Things. So let me take you to the most important penalty in an electricity bill, that is power factor penalty. Power factor penalty is the single largest hidden cost in commercial electricity bill. Most companies pay it every month without knowing, and fixing it requires visibility first and then certain equipment second. I'll walk you through the entire concept step by step. So first of all, let me tell you an interesting story. One company lost almost 20 lakhs last month to one penalty on their electricity bill. That is something we are going to walk through. That is power factor surcharge. Let me explain what it is, why your DISCOM charges it, and why you are probably paying it right now. Okay, so let me simplify this concept for you. Think of a power factor like office rent. You sign a lease for 1000 square foot, but not all of it's usable workspace. Some of it is corridors, pillars, common areas, utility space. The actual productive workspace might be only 850 square foot on your total 1000 square foot. In electricity, the total space you're renting is apparent power, measured in kVAh. The productive workspace, the electricity that actually runs your AC, your lights, your computers, that's active power, measured in kW. And the corridors and the dead space, that's reactive power. So now we know the concept as apparent power, active power, and reactive power. Reactive power is something, it doesn't do useful work, but your equipment needs it to function. Power factor is your carpet to super built up ratio. If 90% of what you're drawing is actually doing useful work, your power factor is 0.90. DISCOM wants you above 0.90. They want at least 90% of your power draw to be productive. If you fall below 0.90, you're penalized for wasting grid capacity. Just like a landlord would charge you more if your office had too much dead space relative to the rent. This is just a concept, by the way, to explain, but definitely the landlord is going to charge you for that 1000 square foot and you're using is 850 square foot, but you cannot say yourself that you will pay only rent for 850 square foot. If you're above 0.95, many DISCOMs will actually give you an incentive, a reward for being an efficient grid consumer. So first of all, let us take it a bit more technical. What is reactive power? Now let me explain what this reactive power actually is, and I'll use something every office has, an air conditioner. Your AC has a compressor inside it. The compressor has got a motor, and every motor in your AC, your elevator, your pump needs two types of electricity to run. The first type is active power. This is the electricity that actually cools your room. It does the real work. It's measured in kW. The second type is reactive power. This one is tricky. Your AC motor has coils inside it. To spin, those coils need to create a magnetic field. The magnetic field requires power, but this power doesn't cool your room. It just pushes and pulls inside the motor to keep it spinning. It's like the motor's heartbeat, essentially to keep it alive, but it doesn't produce output. Now here's the key part. Both type of power, active and reactive, travel through the grid to reach your building. Both occupy space on the power lines. Both requires the DISCOM's infrastructure. Going back to your rent analogy, the corridors and dead space in your office, that's the reactive power to your AC motors are drawing. The productive workspace, that's the active power cooling your room. And if too much of what you're drawing is corridors instead of workspace, your power factor drops and the penalty kicks in. So I can now tell you, power factor is the most misunderstood concept in commercial electricity. Ask any admin head what power factor is. You'll get a blank stare like this, okay? Ask the finance team, they'll say It's something that electrician handles. Now here's the thing, it show up on your every single electricity bill, and if it's below the threshold, you're paying extra every month automatically, no questions asked, no notifications, no warnings, just a higher bill. Now a lot of people ask, if for reactive power doesn't do useful work at my end, why should the DISCOM care? And here's why, and this is important. The power factor plant doesn't know the difference. When your building draws reactive power, the generator at the power station still has to produce it. The coal still burns, the turbine still spins, the fuel cost is real. Now that's reactive power travels through transmission lines, your transformers, substations, all the way to your building. Every piece of grid infrastructure has to carry this load. Think of it like a highway. Active power is the traffic that reaches the destination and delivers goods. Okay, reactive power is traffic that goes back and forth on the highway without delivering anything, but it still occupies lanes, it still causes congestion. The highway still needs to be wide enough to handle it. When your power factor is low, you're forcing the DISCOM to build a wider highway, bigger transformers, thicker cables, more substation capacity just to handle your reactive power. That's expensive. So they pass that cost to you as a penalty. When your power factor is high, above 0.95, you are being considered as a responsible grid citizen. I'll call this as a grid citizen. You're not wasting that infrastructure capacity. So many DISCOMs actually reward you with an incentives, a credit on your bill. Okay, now why does power factor drops in commercial buildings? The answer is sitting on your wall, an air conditioner. Every split AC in a bank branch or a retail store has a compressor motor. That motor draws reactive power to create the magnetic field it needs to spin. Older ACs are worse. They draw more reactive power relative to the cooling they produce. A typical bank branch, example for illustration, has got 5 to 6 split ACs. Add old tube lights with a magnetic ballast. That also draws reactive power. Add a water pump if the branch has one. Pull it all together, okay, and a branch with older equipment will almost certainly have a power factor below 0.90, sometimes as low as 0.80 also. I have seen 0.4 also. Now multiply that by 1200 branches and you start to see the problem. The fix is usually a capacitor bank, a device that generates reactive power locally right at your branch. So instead of pulling reactive power from the grid, your building produces its own. The grid has to carry only useful power. Your power factor goes up. The penalty disappears, and if it goes above 0.95, you start earning incentives. Cost of a capacitor bank for a branch this size, suppose example, I'll tell you, 50,000 rupees a month, the total consumption installed in few hours. But here's the catch, you need to know which branches actually need them. So let's do the math for a 1200 branches, okay, or maybe 500 locations. Average electricity per location is going to be 50,000 rupees per month. Now let's say 25% of your branches have got power factor below 0.90. That's 300 branch paying a PF surcharge. Average surcharge on a 50,000 rupee bill, typically 1000 to 1500 rupees per branch per month. Let's take 1200 rupees as the average. 300 branch times 200 rupees times 12 months, that's 43 lakhs 20,000 rupees a year just in penalties silently going to the DISCOMs. Now flip it. After fixing the power factor at this 300 branches, let's say all they go above 0.95, many DISCOM will give you a PF incentive, a credit on the bill. Average incentives 500 to 800 rupees per branch per month. Let's take 600 rupees. 300 branch times 600 rupees times 12 months, That's 21,60,000 rupees per year, money coming back to you. So the total annual swing from paying penalties to earning incentives is about 65 lakh rupees per year. Now the capex. Now let me try to get you to an ROI. Now the capex, Capacitor bank at 300 locations, average cost is up to 30 to 40,000 per branch for this bill size. Let's say 35,000. 300 branch times 35,000, that's 1 crore 5 lakhs, one-time investment. Payback period is under 20 months. After that, you are earning 65 lakhs per year, every year, pure savings plus incentive income. But here's the real question. How do you know which 300 branches need capacitors? You have 1200 branches. You can't install capacitors everywhere. That's 4 crore wasted on 900 branches that don't need them. The answer is your electricity bill. Every bill has a power factor reading. You just don't need to read them all 1200 every month and identify the ones below 0.90. Manually, it is impossible. That's why this problem persists. Beyond that, I want to tell you a very important thing. Many boards has transitioned from kWh billing to kVAh billing. Under kWh billing, your power factor penalty showed up as a separate line item on the bill. You could see it. It said PF surcharge right there in black and white. You could point to it, question it, fix it. Under kVAh billing, that line item disappears. The penalty doesn't go away, it just becomes invisible. It gets backed into your consumption units. Let me explain. Under kVAh billing, if you consume 6,000 units, you paid for 6,000 units plus a visible PF penalty. Under kVAh billing, the same 6,000 kilowatt hour of actual consumption becomes 7,000 or 7,500 kVAh because reactive power inflates the number. You pay for those extra units directly. No separate penalty line item, just a higher bill. Your finance team looks at the bills and thinks consumption went up, but consumption didn't go up. The measurement changed. This is why you need a compute machine reading your bills, not a human. A human looking at a kVAh bill will never spot the power factor impact because it's not a separate line item anymore. It's embedded in every unit you're billed for. You need a system that abstracts the power factor, calculates the kWh to kVAh inflation and tells you exactly how much extra you are paying because of poor power factor penalty, even when the bill doesn't show it separately. Without that, you are flying blind and the penalty is still there. You just can't see it. Power factor is not a technical problem. It's a financial problem that happens to have a technical root cause. And with the kVAh transition, it's becoming a visibility problem. You can't fix what you can't see. If you're a CFO or admin head managing multiple locations, here what I would suggest. Pull 3 months of your electricity bill, check the power factor at every location. Identify your worst performers. That list is your money back list. Penalties you will stop paying, incentives you will start earning. If you see kVAh billing on your electricity bill and are having difficulty in calculating the power factor, please comment. We will reach out to assist you. Hi, I'm Madhusudan Naik, founder of Living Things. The next video will be based on excess demand charges, the penalty for electricity you reserved but never used. Subscribe it. Thank you.